with the young receivers like that, what's the toughest part for them? Learning to get open or learning to read?
Well, I think for any young player, to me, one of the toughest things here, that you come in and you go from high school to college, is the pace of everything. Okay, every single play, the tempo you have to play at, the effort you have to give every single play to be a very good player. That sometimes is hard for guys to adjust to, because in high school you were the best player on your team, and yeah, sometimes, you know, I didn't have to go as hard to be the best player on my team or the best player on the field. And certainly what happens in a game as you're a receiver, a young receiver, is when they start playing different coverages to you, now they're pressing, now they're playing off, now they're doing this, now you have to react to that. And every single play you have to come to the line of scrimmage with a plan. I'm running this route. If I get pressed, I do it this way. If they're off, I do it this way. If they play this coverage, I got this. If they play this coverage, I got that. It's the same route, right? But there are some different variables that go with running that route. And I know as a receiver coach, I always approach it, and Frisman does the same way, is it's like being a carpenter. We're going to teach you the tools of the trade, so then when it comes time for you to run this route against this coverage or this technique, you pull off the workbench the tool you need at that particular time. And that comes with experience. You know, that comes with experience. You know.
Is that what your kids have, I mean, have you seen your kids have trouble with that, the coverages? And
yes, we've not converted some things we should convert. We've got jammed up versus press coverage. We've had some issues with that, certainly. And I've seen improvement, too, as we've gone through the process. You know, because Keith Sconyers was a much better player in that game than he had been previously. I know he got a penalty, but I would much rather have a penalty for somebody going in with that kind of effort to go crack block somebody, okay, than for a kid not to go in there and to go after somebody. So we could correct Keith on that penalty he got, right, because of the way he went in to crack block, you know, because he went in there with a purpose and he went in there being physical. So now, okay, Keith, that's the way we want you to go in there. Now here's your correction factor. So the next time you do it exactly right.
Is Gary playing this week?
Yes.
What goes into your thought when, I know you'd probably not rather call the whole team over in the middle of the game to talk to them?
Yeah, I would rather not do that.
Right, but I mean, what's your thought process?
Right there was that, you know, that it wasn't going good. And the way we were playing versus the way Ohio U was playing was two teams going in opposite directions at that juncture of the game. And I felt like I needed to do something to get my players' attention at that time, at that moment. So that's why I called timeout, to let them know then. I didn't want to wait till halftime. You know, I'm not going to wait till after the game. I'm not going to do it on Monday. I had to do it right then. So that's what went into it.
Coach, a lot of times when you get in that situation, you get behind early, the game plan kind of gets thrown out the window. What do you want to see from your team this week, early in the game, to get off to a better start?
Well, you know, execution. I think the three things we got to go into the game with a little bit better. We got to go in with a little bit better poise. We have to go in with more discipline. We have to go in and execute better. And that's what we have to do. Because you lose your poise sometimes when things start going away from you. All right? And you lose your discipline, and you're supposed to be here, or you're supposed to block him, or you're supposed to tackle him. You lose your discipline. It's what we did early in that game. We lost our discipline. And execution and discipline sometimes go hand in hand. So we have to come out in this game with much more poise, much more discipline, and execute much better. And if we can do that, then I think we'll take some steps in a very positive direction. I want us to start doing the things that good teams do. And we've had spurts of that during the course of the season. But we haven't had any consistency with doing that. And as we approach the remaining part of our season, you know, we have 5 league games left, and we want to approach it in that manner. That we need to start doing the things that good teams do.
How would you assess Anthony Holmes now that he's been a starter and he had an interception this game? So,
you know, I think Anthony has a chance to be a very good player there for us. He's like any young player on our team. He's got some moments where he's really done some excellent things, and got some moments where he'd like to have a few plays back. But Anthony comes out there with great work ethic, and he's a good attitude, and he's green and growing, would be the best way to describe Anthony Holmes.
Would you use those same terms to describe Patrick Nicely?
Yes, he's green and growing, absolutely.
Anything else? Right.
I was listening to Chip Kelly. He had a radio interview just a little while ago. He was saying that in his second year this year, the team meetings are much shorter, their staff meetings are much shorter because everybody knows in the room what they want to accomplish, what they want to get done. Can you relate to that, as far as this year, having to implement your strategies, your philosophy?
I don't know if my staff ever thinks my staff meetings will be shorter. They'll have to do that. Our longest staff meeting of the week is Thursdays because we go through everything that we need to go through. I think anytime you're going through something for the second time, and the familiarity is much greater, and the routine and the plan doesn't change, which it's not, then everybody will be on the same page, the pace is quickened, and everybody knows what the expectations are. And when we come back, when we go to second semester here and we're getting ready to go in the weight room with Mike Akron, they'll have been through that already. When we come into our off-season program at 6 a.m., they will have been through that already. When we go out and have our spring practice next year, they'll know what to expect. They know what practice looks like. So everything will be, certainly, I think, much familiar with everybody, and the pace should quicken. And the biggest thing is the expectations, which won't change here. They'll be high. The systems aren't going to change here. So now when you go into the second year of your offensive system and your defensive system and your special team system, it's the same. So now you would through osmosis, guys should be better. Okay, because now we've run, our outside zone is the same outside zone we've run all year, and I've taken that step. And it's not doing 4,000 things 12 times. It's doing 12 things 4,000 times. That makes you better, and that's the process we're going through.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.